Hello, this is Michael with Entertain Me TV show reviews, and this is the audible review for Gold Rush Season 3, Episode 11, Pink Slip. At Quartz Creek up in the Klondike, Todd's turbo trommel seems to be working perfectly after about 3 months at a standstill. It appears to be washing the pay dirt as it should, so Todd Hoffman hopes that he can keep his promise toward his investor. 3 weeks ago, Jason, who is Todd's investor, gave Todd an ultimatum. He wants to see a total 350 ounces of gold from the Hoffman crew when he returns in 3 weeks. Todd promised that he'd get 250 ounces from Indian River and that Quartz Creek would produce the remaining 100 ounces. Todd orders a cleanup of the turbo trommel, which for the first time has been running without any problems since it was fixed last week. Team Todd is positive that they'll see 100 ounces from the trommel this week, as their investor will arrive on site next week, and so they start by cleaning the sluice on the trommel. It's Todd and Jack's first cleanup of the season. Jack Hoffman cleans up the concentrated dirt in the dirt recovery room by himself, while the rest of Team Todd predicts that they'll get at least 15 ounces out of this cleanup. As Jack returns from the gold room, he breaks the cleanup total to the crew, which is a very disappointing cleanup. A total of 7.34 ounces, worth less than $12,000, is all they got out of the turbo trommel. They're 93 ounces short from the 100 ounces they need to keep their investor off their back. As Jack Hoffman states, for the average person it would be a decent cleanup, but for them it's not even enough to buy them fuel. Which then, with their investor coming in just 6 days, Todd is 93 ounces short. He knows something is wrong with the trommel because the dirt he puts through it is very good pay dirt. Down at the Big Nugget mine in southeast Alaska, Parker Snubble has been digging towards bedrock on Emerson Trench for 2 weeks, and finally he's been seeing a change in the dirt. Glenn, Parker's fine gold specialist, gathers a test bucket of dirt from 20 feet down and processes it, but he has no good news for Parker as he shows him the test results. The material, which is 20 feet deep near the bedrock, appears to be worse than the overburden above, which got Big Nugget mine 12 ounces last week. Parker decides that they keep digging the last 6 feet to bedrock because he hopes that there's good gold down there. Back up in the Klondike at the Indian River claim, Team Turin is about to run out of pay dirt from their first dig site. The wash plant Big Red is touring through the final 5,000 yards fast. Greg Rembergs predicts that within 5 days they'll be out of pay dirt, and if Dave Turin hasn't opened up their second dig site, then the wash plant has to shut down, which would lose them time and money. Dave is currently halfway with clearing the permafrost from the second cut, and he needs to clear the remaining 6 feet of melting permafrost before they run out of cut 1 pay dirt. The permafrost is melting fast in the hot summer sun, making conditions tough. Dave plays it safe by only stripping a 200-foot area. Dave struggles with keeping traction on the muddy deck and soon gets the D9 dozer stuck in the muck on the upper bench. Dave radios Greg Remsberg for help, and Greg now has to climb a steep hill in the 460 excavator to reach the upper bench, where Dave Turin is stuck with the dozer. Eventually, he manages to get the excavator up the bench before the dozer slips over the ledge down 30 feet. He also manages to pull the dozer out of the melted permafrost. Down at Porcupine Creek in Alaska, the 270 excavator is still broken. The frame holding the idler wheel, which broke for the first time 6 weeks ago, where back then Fred made a new one from scrap metal, failed to hold. Dawson says that they rewelded it several times and that it wasn't meant to be a permanent fix, only a temporary one. Dawson tells Fred that they have spent about the same on repairing the frame as it would have cost to just rent a brand new machine. Fred, though, has no money and decides to once again just re-weld it. As they finish the fix, they put the frame back in and installs the 300-pound idler wheel onto the frame. With the 270X back up and running, the Dakota boys rush back into the glory hole to make up for lost time, but just 6 hours after the fix, the frame breaks once again. At the same time, Dustin hears from Melody that the loader is spilling fluid. She suspects that it's transmission fluid. Dustin arrives to take a look and indeed finds out that it is transmission fluid which is leaking. He states that they'd have to take the entire machine apart to fix it, which would be the end of the season for the broken loader. Fred arrives to discover the loader being broken and eventually has to make a call that he's been avoiding. Fred calls for more credit on a loan. Across the creek from the Dakota boys at the Big Nugget mine, Rick believes that they are moving close to 2,000 yards a day out of Emerson Trench dig site. In a race to get down to bedrock, Parker is running his wash plants to the max, but running so much dirt in the wash plant has caused the tailings to back up into the machine. If the build-up stops, the trommel, the motor on the wash plant could burn out. At the time, Glenn was responsible keeping an eye on the plant, so Parker confronts him with it. Then Glenn and Parker start to fight about the issue. Parker later apologized to Glenn moments later for being so rough and aggressive towards him. Back at Porcupine Creek, the Dakota boys are dead in the water. Both the 220 loader and the 270 excavator are still both broken down. But Fred has come through, he's got more credit, comes back to the claim with two new rental machines, a loader and a brand new 340 excavator to replace the 20-year-old 270 which broke down. Both Dustin and Melody is happy about the new equipment. They can finally get back to chasing that 160-ounce goal for the season with brand new equipment. Fred unloads the 330 excavator off the trailer and there's no time putting it to use back in the glory hole. The Dakota boys finally have the right equipment and the wash plant is processing good material. They're back in the hunt for the 160 ounces of glory hole gold. Back up at Quartz Creek, Team Todd tries to determine what led to their disappointing cleanup of 7 ounces. They fire up the turbo trommel and Todd had Jim Thurber panning the tailings that the trommel discards. Mitch, the team mechanic, spots something hanging down within the trommel. As Thurber finishes panning the tailings, he sees gold in a pan, which means that they're losing gold out the back of the trommel. There are about 14 visible colors in the pan. They shut down the trommel to inspect what Mitch discovered hanging down from the trommel. Right off as Mitch enters the trommel, he sees daylight coming through between the spiral and the drum, and he also finds the object which was hanging down. It appears to be urethane, which seals between the spiral and the drum. It's come loose, which allows fine gold to slip down into the tailings. Mitch says that he can weld it instead of replacing the urethane, but it has to be grinding smooth. He estimates that it would take over 400 feet of welding and that it would take about 2 weeks to do it. Todd decides to call it quits on the trommel, costing hundreds of thousands of dollars, shutting it down for the rest of the season. Without a wash plant, it is game over for Quartz Creek. The team is clearly frustrated, and Todd admits that he failed this summer with Quartz Creek. Less than 2 miles from Quartz Creek over at Indian River, Dave Turin is racing to get down to pay gravel in the second dig site. Their wash plant is getting through their stockpile dirt fast. If Dave can't get down to pay dirt as soon, they'll have to shut off their wash plant for the time being, costing over $10,000 a day in lost gold. As they are one bucket away from finishing their stockpile pay dirt, Dave hits pay dirt in cut number 2. Back in Alaska at the Big Nugget mine, Parker is nearing the end of 2 weeks dig down to bedrock at Emerson Trench, and they shortly hit bedrock down in the pit. Parker's Glenn tests the bedrock dirt, but the results are very disappointing. The test shows no gold in the pan. 3 weeks, $30,000, and over 700 man-hours digging down at Emerson Trench just to find nothing. Across the creek from Big Nugget at Porcupine Creek claim the Dakota boys have been running their wash plant for 3 straight days. Fred shuts down the wash plant, but to have any chance at hitting their 160-ounce goal for the season, they need at least 2 ounces per day or 6 ounces total from the last 3 days of running. They pan the concentrate from the cleanup and heads inside to weigh the gold. After running the plant for 20 hours over 3 days, they pull in 14 ounces or $22,400, which is more than double the amount they need to stay on track towards their 160-ounce goal. The Dakota boys are now at a total of 75 ounces for the season. At Indian River, back up in the Klondike, the conveyor belt which discards the tailing has stopped moving. Dave Turner acts fast and has Chris cut the power to the wash plant. As the belt is moving, it creates heat and shuts off the electrical safeguard. They reset the safeguard and fix the problem quickly. They start the Final Cut 1 cleanup, and right off the bat they find a first Indian River nugget. They take all the miners' moss which traps the gold over to the gold recovery tent at Quartz Creek as Jack extracts the gold from the concentrate. He weighs the last Indian River Cut 1 gold and heads over to Indian River to break the cleanup total to Team Turner, which is 53.78 ounces worth a staggering $86,400, which brings Indian River's total gold tally so far up to 223 ounces, worth about $356,800. They're almost only responsible for all the Hoffman gold so far this season. With 6 weeks to go, they are well on their way to hit their 501 ounce goal for the season. Back over at Quartz Creek, things are far more different. With only 7.34 ounces worth less than $12,000, Todd has pulled the plug on his high-tech trommel, and investor Jason is about to show up at Quartz Creek. But Todd Hoffman is way short of his 350-ounce promise to Jason. Todd breaks the bad news about the shutdown of the trommel to Jason. Jason is not happy for Todd to miss his promise and pulls Todd over to the side. Jason suggests that Todd lets go of some people if he can't keep production up and costs down. Todd doesn't want to send anybody home as the blame for the failure at Quartz Creek falls on him. This was the audible review for Gold Rush Season 3, Episode 11, Pink Slip. Thanks for listening.